Hey, Indian Hills, tons of new books on their way out to the shelves in the library this week. So I'll just tell you a little bit about each one. So the first one is The Rise and Fall of Charles Lindbergh. It's a biography. It's about the guy who was the first man to fly from New York to Paris, which is a deadly venture for those who had attempted it before him. One of the first media sensations whose extraordinary celebrity would overwhelm him and lead to tragedy, and the victim of the crime of the century. His infant son was kidnapped, and it was a big news story back in the day. So if you want to know more about Charles Lindbergh, that's his biography. The next one, graphic novel Dragon Hoops. This is a really awesome book. It's about the author himself and his school that he used to teach at and their basketball team. So it just kind of takes you through their story of their season and what happens to the players on the team. The next one is Wings of Fire, Dark Stalker. This one is the Legends series, so it's different from the regular Wings of Fire series. So we have the first book and the second book in this series now, the Legends series. There's the new Fun Jungle book by Stuart Gibbs, Tyrannosaurus Rex, number 6 in that series. This one, When You Trap a Tiger, deals a little bit with Korean folklore. So a girl decides to find out some family secrets, and Korean folklore kind of sneaks in with it. A Phoenix First Must Burn. This one is 16 stories of black girl magic, resistance, and hope. So it's a collection of short stories from some of the most popular black writers that we have in our library. Things Seen from Above by Shelley Pearsall. Shelley Pearsall also wrote the seventh most important thing that was on the Iowa Teen Awards a couple of years ago. This one is about a girl who volunteers to sit on the buddy bench at recess, and she meets a boy who doesn't really have any other friends, and she finds out a secret about this boy, and as they start to become friends, she wonders if she should share this secret with other people. There might be a reason she needs to tell some adults this secret. All right, The Only Black Girls in Town. It's about a girl who lives in California. She has a best friend, but she's pretty much the only black girl in town until a new family moves into town. And so she thinks her and this new black girl are going to become fast friends because they're the only black girls in town. But that's not exactly the case. So it's the story of them trying to become friends. Good Murder Mystery, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. A girl is supposedly murdered by her boyfriend, and then the boyfriend commits suicide, and 5 years later, the main character of this story decides to investigate because she doesn't think that that's exactly what happened. She thinks there's more to the story. Hope in the Mail. Wendelin Van Draanen has written Flipped, Runaway, and Wild Bird. And Flipped and Runaway are both Iowa Teen Award books in the past. But this is a nonfiction book about reflections on writing and life. So it talks about how she became an author and gives you a little bit of advice about becoming a writer as well. The List of Things That Will Not Change. This one also is by an Iowa Teen Award author who wrote Goodbye Stranger, and that was on the Iowa Teen Award list a few years ago. But The List of Things That Will Not Change is about a girl. Her dad is divorced. He's gay, and then he is going to get remarried. And so she thinks that her dad's fiance has a daughter and they're going to become best friends, but the daughter might have other ideas. She's kind of hard to read. So the next one, Rick by Alex Gino. He is the author of George, which is a pretty popular book in our library. But Rick is the story of a boy named Rick who is moving into middle school and trying to form his identity. So he joins the school's Rainbow Spectrum Club, and he's trying to form his identity and figure out who he really is. All right, the next one, The Year After You, is about a girl who goes to a New Year's Eve party and an accident happens. She survives, but her best friend doesn't. So it's the aftermath of the year and what happens after her best friend dies. Hunting November is the sequel to Killing November, and they're both by Adriana Mather, who is a descendant of the Mathers from the Salem witch trials. But this one is about a girl who attends an espionage school to become a spy. So Hunting November, the sequel. Come Find Me, Megan Miranda. This is one of my favorite adult authors, but this is a book that she has written that is for young adults. And so it's just a mystery. A boy and his dog have disappeared. It's like they just disappeared into thin air. What happened to them? The Twin, new one by Natasha Preston. So a good horror mystery type of author. Very, very, very popular in our library. So her new book. The Greatest Zombie Movie Ever. It's about a kid who is trying to make a movie to post to YouTube, but the last movie that he posted to YouTube was a bomb. Nobody watched it. So now he's trying to make the greatest zombie movie ever so he can post it to YouTube and become famous. The next one, Stamped by Jason Reynolds. This is a young, Jason Reynolds did a young adult adaptation of Kendi's adult version of this book. And Jason Reynolds has written Ghost and Long Way Down, two super popular books in our library. This book is a nonfiction book, but it's amazing. It's written with so much readability because it's Jason Reynolds, but it's the history of African Americans in the United States, a little bit about racism and anti-racism, and it's just really a book that makes you stop and think. So that's Stamped. If you get a chance to get a hold of the audiobook, I'm trying to find if it's out on the Playaway yet, but if you get a chance to get the audiobook, Jason Reynolds does the narration himself, and it's amazing. Angry Management, Chris Kutcher, just a story of three characters attending anger management and all the things that they're trying to overcome. We have Caged Warrior, about a kid who is growing up in Detroit. He's part of a mixed martial arts fighting club and just kind of has a really tough life. Bystander, story of a new boy in school, and he starts to realize that the one friend that he's made so far is the school bully, and he doesn't really like hanging out with him, and he wishes he could stop him from being a bully, but he also kind of likes having a friend too, so he's becoming a bystander. All right, Cracking the Bell by Jeff Herbaugh. He is the author of Hooper, which is on the Iowa Teen Awards list this year. Cracking the Bell is a story about a high school senior who loves football. Football is like his identity. He is a football player. He has college scholarships waiting for him, and he ends up with a concussion his senior year. So it's the story of the concussion issues that's cracking up in football, and the story of him trying to figure out if he can't go back to being a football player because this concussion might have been that severe, then who is he? Football is his identity. So what is he without football if he can't go back and play? So tons and tons of new books coming out to the library shelves. If you see any that you like, put them on hold and I will get them delivered.